Due to your public announcement, I'm shopping for a publisher.
Selling that?
I don't think so at all, actually. All right, let's take it back to the National Prayer Breakfast. As I mentioned, it's the 61st annual. We're still waiting for President Obama to get up and speak, and Chuck Schumer is now at the podium. He's not a short speaker. Senator Schumer, who is my senator, so I think as a constituent, I get to say that.
You all remember his very nice but very long address during the inaugural, right? He gave his own inaugural address before Obama gave his.
Oh, that's a tough crowd. We're a tough crowd.
Let's talk.
He did.
I think it was longer than the president's.
No.
It's a close call.
It was a close call. Let's talk a little bit about the organization that is sponsoring this. We were talking about that just a moment ago. They have a very spotty track record, certainly, and it's interesting that the president, or really that people who don't necessarily agree with their agenda, come every year and speak, right?
It's almost as if he's coming to pay his respects, right? I mean, it's important that there be a dialogue, but as this group has become more extreme and as the president has become a bigger, stronger advocate for equality, their views are so diametrically opposed to each other. It's kind of unusual and curious that they're, still think it's important to have this dialogue with people with whom he disagrees so dramatically.
It's unusual, but it's...
Do you think he shouldn't go?
I think he probably shouldn't go. I mean,
when every president since Eisenhower has gone, the message that you would send, I think, would be a very.
I disagree with you, Richard, because I feel like this is, as we say, more about the tradition of it. It's not that either side is going to influence the other to change their mind about gay marriage, for example. But I think this is an instance where you remember that we're all Americans. We may not agree on everything, and so if you take away these traditional events, I think we become more divided as a country. I think that could be very helpful.
I think this group has become so extreme in their views that it's not like they're out of the mainstream. It's like they're on the extreme right.
But they're going to become even more extreme if you don't have events like this, where you have the president at least give his point of view.
Well, but would you go to the convention of a hate group? I mean, that's what they've kind of become. I mean, they are sponsoring a bill in Uganda that would provide the death penalty for someone who is gay.
So you're saying a group that is that intolerant, how could they be the sponsor of an event ostensibly to bring people together?
I have to say, I think Abby has a point, right? Which is, if you continue to do this, you end up having very polarized groups. There are certainly groups on the left and groups on the right where people just absolutely, completely disagree.
Draw the line? Where do you draw the line?
Well, I think that...
But so that you wouldn't attend any group that was devoted to that if they had, extreme views,
I think, first of all, I love sitting in and taking notes on what people are saying, especially when I'm not invited, because I think that that's the best way to understand what people are talking about, what their agenda is, who their speakers are. I mean, I think when you don't go to any of these things and you don't bring cameras in, you run the risk, actually, of a bigger problem. But I think as to whether the president should go...
I think we're talking about the president of the United States. We're not talking about myself. We're not talking about Richard or Soledad. Would you go to this group or that? I think you're talking about the president here.
And he's being invited to talk about his position. So I agree with Abby on this.
Right.
Girl power today, this morning, as we wait for the 61st annual National Prayer Breakfast to get underway. We're expecting to hear from President Obama. And just they told us 8:05, so they're running a little bit late this morning. We're going to bring that to you live as soon as it happens. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back on the other side, hopefully, with the president's remarks.
Stick some more medicine up Caroline's nose.